firstly. We'll be taking presentations first from group two. And then after we are done with your presentation, we will have Vice Tabuki come and give us her discourse for today. After she's done with the discourse, we'll take feedbacks from, sorry, did I say feedbacks? After we are done with the discourse from her, we'll take questions and then we'll call it a day. So most likely it's not going to be a very long day in class. So I really, really want to encourage us to be really attentive in this session. So please, once again, let's do well to reach out to as many people as we can so that we can have quite a number of people on the call if that will be possible. All right. So yeah, we'll be starting off with presentations from the mentees, right, or your presentations, and we'll be taking group two's presentation. We'll be taking group two's presentation. So group two, please, if you are ready, we are ready for you. Please, we would like to receive your presentation now. Can we all hear me? Please, if we have the group presenter in class, please, for group two, we would like to receive your presentation now, right? So let's try and see if we can get straight to it so that we don't waste any time. Is the group presenter for group two in class, please? If the group presenter is not available, can we have the backup presenter also? Please, let's do that as quick as possible.
So I can't hear what you're saying.
Okay, so we're asking for the presenters for group two, right? Group one did not submit. You guys did not make submissions, so we want to take presentations from group two.
So group one not, so group one will not be presented today because nothing.
Well, no submission was made. I got in touch with the group leader, and she said you people did not compile your work on time.
Yeah, the person just sent it to me like 10 minutes ago or something like that. I don't know if you can speak to that or something.
Okay. Okay. If you feel you can still take it, then no problem. Let's take your presentation first. Then we'll go to group two.
I know what to say.
I said we can take your presentation, right? Let's do that quickly. Then we'll go back to group two. Please, for group two, let's try and see if we can get ready also with our presentation. Did you hear me? Sorry, am I audible? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so our presenter for group one, please, are you with us? We would want to take your presentation.
You mean group one or group three? I thought you said group three should go first.
Well, it seems group two is not ready, so let's have yours if we can.
Please, can you allow group three go first? Because I'm still trying to set up everything here over my system.
Okay. All right. Do we have anyone from Group 2 in class today? We are officially in the last class for AI, and I want us to be quite responsive, right? I want us to be quite responsive. Let's not end the artificial intelligence class on these notes, please. So let's try and be as responsive as possible. All right. So please, Group 2 members, if we have members of Group 2 in class, we want to take your presentation. Okay. Since we don't have anybody from Group 2 yet in the call, we just received a notice from Ms. Bouquet. She'll be running a little bit late. All right. So we'll just want to hang in a little before we have her join in. She'll be joining us very shortly. But while we are waiting for her to join in, Mr. Afolabi, if I'm not mistaken. All right. If you are not ready, can you send your presentation to me if it's a setup problem? I can help you display your slides while you start your presentation.
Okay, if you can help me, probably you can help me with this because I'm free.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
I thought you said you can help me. Okay, I'm still trying to share
Yes,
my.
I said
Okay,
you can
I
share,
think I'm.
send you. I
Oh,
don't have a copy. I don't. You can send it
I'm
to
trying
me
to
and
share
then
my
I'll.
screen. I think I share my screen. Can you see it
Okay.
now?
Okay. Yeah, it's coming up.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Your screen is up.
My screen is on.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, I can see it here. Okay, so I'm very sorry. This is coming very very short. It's like a very short notice. So the topic is the topic for this slide is artificial intelligence as a whole, a solution that cuts across all domains. Yeah, this is a presentation from Group 1 of this JIIPCC Internship Academy. So I think it is normal, it's here to stay. And it's not just here to stay, it's here to radicalize our society, it's here to radicalize how we think, how we behave, and how we interact with everybody. So with this radicality and with this potent, it's not only potential, like when they say something is potential, that is theoretical.
Hear me.
I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, before you go ahead, your speaker is echoing. I think your second device is it's you have your speaker device on your second, right? So you can just kindly turn it off.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm very sorry. So I don't know where I stopped. So let me just start again. I said our topic for this presentation is AI, a solution that cuts across all domains. Yeah, visual like it is not a breaking news. It is not a just breaking news again that AI is artificial intelligence is actually here and is definitely here to stay, and it's not only a potential power again. It has been active force that is radicalizing every society, every aspect. It's not like it's radicalizing every aspect of what we are doing. It is cutting across all domains, all industries. Virtually, I can't even recall probably my last research. I haven't seen any industry, any career path that has not been finding a way to actually include or find a way to blend its applicability or implementation with AI. I don't think I've seen any parts, any domain that haven't been finding a way to actually blend its scope with artificial intelligence. I haven't seen any. And also this is just not about the radicality alone, but about the people investing in it. I think it has been one of if I still recall the last news I actually saw on Twitter, like anthropology alone has actually risen to 500 billion private companies. I think I saw that yesterday. Like anthropology, not talking about Nvidia, not talking about OpenAI, not talking about Grok, not talking about Gemini. This means that it's actually. I think okay. I think one of my last research. They said OpenAI is actually one of the fastest users that actually have users like 1 billion. OpenAI actually have 1 billion users. That's a lot. That means virtually all the countries are actually using OpenAI. 1 billion users. That's the fastest of any app woman can see. So we just news that AI is here. Is a news. Is not the news. It's just the news now is how we can actually implement our solutions, implement our ideas with artificial intelligence. So we are now in this slide. We are going to be talking about how AI solution, how it has been embedded in various sectors, in various domains, various industries. So flow with me as move on. So at first, we are going to be talking about artificial AI in finances. As we've said, AI is revolutioning everything. It's bringing changes to everything we are thinking. How we are even thinking, AI is embedded. Like the neural network in AI is actually so crazy, and it's a matter of when we are going to accept it as our reality. It's not a matter of how, because it is here. So we are going to be discussing about AI in finances. So introduction, the financial sector, like we should know that financial sector has actually moved from the traditional system of finances, that is the use of bank microfinance, to a modern radicalized way of with empowered with artificial intelligence. So finances is just not restricted to traditional banking anymore. So it has exploded beyond our thinking. Finances has actually embed artificial intelligence in its operation, and uh, and it is seen everywhere. Everybody is seeing this. Everybody is using this. Everybody is using it. Everybody is using it. So one of the examples I would like to state is artificial intelligence has been implemented in just not like people think finances is just only banking sector. No, that is not only finances. We are talking about capital marketing. We are talking about finance marketing. So artificial intelligence, we are talking about stock. We are talking about like all these things. So artificial intelligence has actually powered or empowered all these sectors. So we are going to be discussing about how artificial intelligence has radicalized the financing sector. So the benefits of artificial intelligence in finances. Number one, it improves decision making process. How does it improve how does it improve decision making process? It makes AI enables faster and more accurate evaluation. So fintech are actually using AI to actually um make people to actually have faster and accurate decision making. I don't know, like there is this API. I think there is this I think those company has not blow very well sha. So there is this API that this company are using. They actually link the fintech together with Investopedia or something like that, and it will be generating some news about investment for people based on their account balance on the app. That is AI integration. Like that API will be generating news for people on how they can invest with their money, how they can manage their fundings, how they can actually do everything within their limited funding. That is AI in application. So AI has actually it has actually make in finances, it has make people to be so much good in their decision making process and finances, all these things. So number two, regulatory compliance and fraud detection. Okay, for that number one, improving the decision making process. This is not only to the client but also to the it's not only to the users but also to the people powering this finance fintech, people that hold this fintech. We can see majorly, there is this thing they call customer churn prediction. So AI can actually this is mostly used in loan fintech or all these things. They actually know people that can easily or leave their company without paying their. So they actually have something they linked together with all these historical banking stuff through diverse areas, through with your BVN or NIN. They will actually see your track record of your money, how you are spending your money, the amount of money. So this will help them in thinking or making decision of whether to borrow you money or not. So this is AI embeddings. These are AI embeddings. It has radicalized our decision making for both the users and both the producer of this financial sector. So regulatory compliance and fraud detection. AI are trained on, like, there is something we call big data. There is something we call big data. AI is built on this big data, and it has this AI models has helped in detecting unusual financial behavior, identifying irregularity in financial statements and spotting activities like so this is like especially with the use of this BVN or NIN or something like that. This AI has, like, it can actually shuffle all throughout your data and actually check your financial irregularity or laundering. So if you actually have, like, this AI can track your financial record and actually dictate easily whether what you are doing is getting, like, this is what all these people in US are using. I've forgotten their name. I think it's not FBI or something like that. This fraud, all this thing. So they actually track people's financial record and all this thing. So improving three, oh, number three, improving financial forecasting. AI-based forecasting models are widely used in finance to predict loan default, bankruptcy, stock price movement, and asset return and insurance claim. I think I've explained this. It help in forecasting financial analysis or something like that. So I think earlier I said financial sector is not only being compacted. So there is this all these stock price movements, all these stocks. So there are some algorithm in AI that actually predict, they we call it time series data. So like if you do time series analysis on your data, like on financial, on this stock marketing, this AI can will be able to predict, okay, by this time last year, this stock price actually fall because of this reason, those are data points. So because of this reason, so based on this probability, it can this thing can this thing can also happen this year. So that those are financial forecasting. They are better than humans, like they are better than any economist, because they are trained on big data, like billions or quadrillions of data. So they are able to actually forecast financial analysis. And this is used by these techniques are actually employed through different deep neural network, machine learning, and SME. So number four, improve operational efficiency. improves operational efficiency. I think I also discussed that earlier. So we are going to be moving to the limitations and risk in use of AI in financial sector. So one of the limitation and the risk that has been identified so far, and I think it has been different. The government has been tackling it in one way or the other. We call this confidential risk. Financial data are so sensitive a data that it can't just be handled by anybody. It has to be handled by professionals. It has to be handled by experts. It has to be but these fintech people, they apart from the fact that they are bringing innovations, they are making everything easy, but we are supposed to be checking their employees. How smart are they? What are their credentials? Because apart from being job wise, career wise intelligent, we're supposed to actually evaluate their emotional intelligence as well. What if the person analyzing this data actually knows someone that's actually have this data point? What if he knows, what if he knows, and what is his reaction towards that person after seeing this person? You just imagine, probably you don't have, you actually borrow the money from you don't have, and you are defaulting in payments, and someone working in that loan app actually see this data and he knows you. Like, what is going to be his emotional reaction to that? So those are confidential risk. So, but I think a lot of companies has been bringing up with data protection act and also this to combat this confidential risk. So number two, risk of inaccurate information. AI decision making can be influenced by fake news or information. An example is false 2013 White House attack report that caused unusual markets. Yeah, so this AI, like, we should know that I'm a proponent of AI. I'm a strong proponent of AI, and I believe that this inaccurate information, I think it happens to everybody. But AI, especially in Twitter, all these things, they are heavily attacked. Like, they expect 100% from AI, and I think to get that is inevitable. To get 100% from anybody, including artificial intelligence, is inevitable. So, this AI sometimes we call it as hallucination. This AI can sometimes hallucinate, and especially not only in financial sector. If you check chatbots or something like that, if you just input something in your ChatGPT or Gemini and ask him to actually tell you some things. So I'm a law student. Okay, everybody here is a law student, and just if you are looking for any case law, AI can easily hallucinate and give you and just fabricate any case for you or something like that. So this also happen in financial sectors. AI can just generate some news that is fallible or something like that, and people will actually make decisions on this and therefore affecting their lifestyle or something like that. So, this hallucination of prediction by AI is one of the risks that these AI experts are actually challenging, and it's come with doing a lot of analysis before they actually deploy any AI machine to what to use. Number three, over dependence on algorithm. Excessive reliance on AI may hinder proper interpretation of results, making AI more of full substitute of human judgment. Yeah, so as I said earlier, I'm a proponent of AI, and this limitation and this, yeah, so I can't deny its effectual potence, effectual, how do I say it? I can't deny its impact on us, this limitation, because sometimes we over depend. Like, I've seen someone that is this one is ChatGPT actually over relied on AI, and he gets his act all this act interpretation from AI. Unfortunately, most of them are false. Most of them are false. So these are one of the limitations. It actually make us over relied on them. They make us over relied on them, all these algorithm, and probably leading us to take some improper actions and based on all this. So number four, insufficient training and data quality issues. Number five, cyber security concerns. Like, everything online can be can be attacked. Everything online, especially all this AI, they can, especially most of these fintech, they are actually using API. They are not building their own AI from scratch. They're using API. So they might be attacked, they might be cyberbullied or something like that. So we move to our next subtopic, AI in transportation and logistics. AI in transportation and logistics. AI AI in transportation and logistics. AI is transforming transportation and logistics by improving efficiency, safety, and resilience across the supply chain. Transportation and logistics form the backbone of modern economies. Like that's the fact. Like no matter how innovative you are, no matter how like you must, especially for people dealing with goods, not services. Like services can still be rendered through the use of all these web 3 or all sorts of things. But for people that are dealing with goods, they must be transported to their end users to generate revenue and all sorts of a thing. So I'm going to be discussing how AI has radicalized and AI has radicalized this sector as well and making it easy for people to actually use. I will put in some practical examples that I can remember in my head. Contribution of AI in transportation, route optimization and dynamic dispatch. With AI optimized routing by combining historical travel times, live traffic speed and constraints to minimize distance, delay and emission. Reinforcement learning and meteoric argument classic to Andrew. So I remember this time. I think I saw a news by this Lagos State travel, like one people shall they actually build this AI system that can help you predict whether there might be traffic or something like that. So how does this work? They actually work by generating a lot of data by this time, especially Monday when it's raining, so there might be this probability or something like that happening. So this AI has actually it's help in road optimization. You know where to like that app. I've really forgotten its name, but it is recently launched in Lagos. So it's I think it uses I don't know how it works actually, but it uses a lot of algorithm and interdependency models to actually predict traffic. So if you have that app on phone, before you leave your house, you can easily check is there traffic on third mainland bridge, is there traffic is there traffic on Lekki phase 2 or Lekki phase 1 or something like that, or Jakande, to actually know is there whether, and that AI will still suggest better routes for you when there is traffic in another route. So it has this as this is a better innovation in transportation as well, because as a dispatch driver you will know where to take the faster routes to take. The simplest example is Google Map. My first time in Lagos, I usually like every time I'm going out I use Google Map. So dispatch drivers, it actually optimize this route dynamism and all this thing. Number two, fleet management and telematics. AI model detect unsafe driving patterns, recommending eco-driving intervention and optimizing assets, blah blah blah. So this as like if you actually have one pattern of driving that is not good, especially for this dispatch driver, there can be an API that can actually connect this your driving pattern with your bosses and giving them feedback on how you are driving so far. So number three, last mile delivering drones. There has been some AI embedding drones, robotics that actually help in this delivery on all sorts of the things. I don't think we've gotten there in this part of the country, this third world country, but countries like China, I think it's only China that will see the practicality part, that are using these AI drones, robotics to actually deliver and all these self-driving cars. So okay, number four is autonomous driving and long road logistics. Autonomous trucks and delivery robots are moving to every from pilot to early commercial deployments. Blah, blah. So like all these autonomous self-driving cars, I don't think the vehicle Nigeria hasn't gotten to such sector yet, but a lot of Western country, first world country, have gotten to the point that they are using autonomous vehicle, autonomous cars to actually do their supply and transportation and logistic of the thing. Even some are not using, some are using robotic and all these drones to actually supply. So AI, okay, so we are moving to the third sector, AI in healthcare. AI in healthcare services. So healthcare system worldwide face increasing demand due to rising population, chronic disease and resources limitation. Traditional approach, while effective, often lack the scalability and precision required to meet modern health challenges. AI through machine learning, deep learning and neural network offers innovative solutions to detect. Yeah. So AI has So AI in this healthcare service has been so tremendous, and I nobody can actually undervalue its importance. If you check on, there is one app we're building, check it on LinkedIn. They call it Ultra Deck. I don't know if it's here. Like it is something like it is actually I think when I'm reading through that their services, they are like I've forgotten. It's like a replicate of something they are doing in China. So this actually helps with radiologists. You know, when radiologists actually scan results and they want to make their what do they call it? They want to write their findings on something report. What they will do is like they are looking for what they think is wrong with that person. Like they are searching when they scan, it's not like they are dictating, they are autonomously dictating everything. They are just dictating what they think is wrong. But these AI embeddings, when they actually scan, they upload their scanning report on this AI will actually predict everything that is wrong. There is no how an expert, a 20-year professional, a person that actually have 20-year experience in radiology can actually do this. Like this AI machine will actually detect up to like 20 or 50 things, that everything that is wrong with those radiology scanning. So this is a great innovation and all such. And we are talking, if you are talking about telemedicine, I think I'm writing one article one time like this. Telemedicine has revolutionized the world of medical sciences, and especially after the outbreak of what do they call it? After the outbreak of COVID-19, like this medical science has actually embedded telemedicine to actually revolutionize this. I think I'm reading one research one time like this. They said in Nigeria, there the approximate doctor to patient we have is 1 to 1,000, and that means that the doctor per se is in Nigeria based on, like, just imagine the amount of turnout doctors we are having every year. Still, it is still 1 to 1,000 doctors we have. Like is a doctor to 1,000 patients. Just check those kind of heavy burdens on doctors and all such. So AI is here to actually reduce these burdens, less of facilities to for these medical professionals in this sector. We have all these waka doctor chatbots that you like it can easily help you diagnose some things before you consult your physical doctors. This is a big innovation. So let me just highlight some AI solution in medical sciences. Number one, AI in diagnostic, predictive analysis. AI model predict disease risk and deterioration and enabling early intervention and preventive care. Personalized medicine, virtual health analysis. I think I've talked about this. Waka doctor, most of this, I'm forgetting most of their name. I've forgotten most of their name. They are just chatbots. They are AI empowered with medical data, so that small things, small detection, like majorly they are actually, all these chatbots are actually meant for first aid of a thing. Like when something happens to you, before you consult your doctor, what can you do immediately to actually rescue the person and all such, and some minor things that you don't really have to go to doctors, and also they actually link you up with professionals in medical field. So those are like innovative solutions by AI into medical sciences. Number three, operational efficiency. Number four, I think I've talked about telemedicine integration. Like I think there is, although although it has not been approved. I think they are still debating it in Nigeria, the prescription of drugs through AI embeddings and all such. So, and I think telemedicine, based on I think that last articles I'm writing, I think they're talking about in US telemedicine. There is a debate on the liability of is it liability? I think their licensing or something like that. For a doctor to practice in a nation or state or something like that, you have to be licensed in that state. So I think in US for a doctor to actually practice, he must be licensed within the state. So a doctor can't just move from a state to state practicing. He must be licensed within the state. Well, however, in Nigeria, the doctor can any doctor that is licensed by the nation, the board of all this medical science, can practice nationwide. Not but a doctor that is licensed in Nigeria can't just move to a state like US to just go and practice. So those are okay. I'm talking about their limitations. Those are like their limitation in all this telemedicine of a thing. So the setback in healthcare diagnostic, a setback, diagnostical error, resources limitation, treatment inefficiency, data overloading. So those are the setbacks. Like number one, the first one I actually talk about the issue of licensing. Uh, the issue of licensing. The issue of
Hello.
licensing. A doctor that is okay. So the question now is in the issue of license. I mean in the issue of telemedicine. Can a doctor that is can a, are you talking to me?
Yes, I was calling you. I just wanted you to try to speed up your presentation, so
All right,
that
all right, all right.
um,
Okay, so let me just speed up and just move on. Oh, so I think I only have three slides left. So AI in art and creativity. So creativity has actually been always been by meditated through versions of paintbrush. So AI is a solution. So I will be talking about AI solution in this creativity and art. Generative AI is number one, AI as a collaborator in art. Generative art is perhaps the most visible example of AI in creativity. Algorithm trained on vast data set can now produce virtual works and blah blah blah. Example are Delhi. I don't JIIPCC abi OpenAI just released Sora 2. I don't know if anybody has heard of it. Sora 2. It can actually generate like realistic video with so much understanding of physics and all this metaphysics stuff. Like it is not just producing all this animated stuff. It can actually produce a woman. You just I how did they do it? I don't even know how they do it. There is a collaboration where you can just it's like Snapchat of a thing. You just collaborate with people so that you can use their picture to actually produce a creative video. So it's so much of is so mind blowing. So AI is radical too. AI as a democratizer of creativity. Yeah, AI make this art and creativity. It has democratized it in a way that me that like someone like me that can't even draw, that can't even create content or something like that. It has make it an easier task for someone like us to actually do something like this. So like a writer having a write block can use AI to ideate and craft. Like for like some people that are not so creative, they can use as far as they have idea, they can just input or prompt their AI to actually help them generate this creative work of art or something like that. So limitation of AI creativity, it relies heavily on training data and it replicates biases and stereotypical words and overuse of truths. Like most of this AI stuff, their data they use to train them the data they use to train them are actually white or something like that. So it somehow leads to biases or something like that. Biases on some race or some language and not such. So I think that's all. Yeah. Thank you so much, and you can have the floor, sir.
all right. Thank you, Afolabi, for stepping up to present for your case. well done to you and your team for being able to still come up with a presentation irrespective. So well done once again. So I think we have Mrs. Cookie with us. Thank you so much, Ma, for joining. We are happy to have you in today's session. This is our official last class for this is our official last class for AI, right? So, Ma, please, we just want you to help us do a farewell to the topic or to the course as a whole. As you discuss and share your thoughts on AI as a solution, and we also, if you would kindly, if it would be possible, right, Ma, we also want you to help also share some tips that would most likely help our mentees as they go forward or they move forward in their practice or in their enthusiasm around the AI sector. You're welcome, Ma.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's always great to be here with Gypsy. I don't know, is there another group that is coming up, or that's the final presentation for the day?
That's the final presentation for today.
Okay, so let me go ahead and share my slides. 1 second. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, Ma, we can.
Okay, so thank you so much again to Gypsy, Dennis, the entire team for always putting this together. I'm pretty passionate about people learning about emerging technologies, which is my area of specialty. So again, my name is Buki Ogunshake, and I'm an emerging technologies lawyer based in Lagos, Nigeria, primarily specializing in emerging technologies, data privacy, and cybersecurity. I'm currently the principal head Satoshi of BBO Solicitors, and then I consult with Interstellar Inc., which is a blockchain infrastructure building organization, um, amongst other things. So today we're talking about AI in a number of sectors because, like we know, AI is going to affect almost all the sectors. It's going to touch on every single aspect of our lives. Today we're looking at it in healthcare, finance, education, transportation, logistic, business operations. Is going to touch everything. Legal services in itself, we're already seeing this as well. For us lawyers, I there's almost no meeting now that you go into that the clients are not ready because they've already used ChatGPT, they've already used Gemini, one form of AI or the other. So as a legal practitioner, you can imagine that you have to be on your toes these days. Even where the questions are coming from are very interesting because a lot of people are generally more informed due to the LLMs that are available to them and data generally. So today we're looking at AI as a core solution. The presentation was fantastic. You can see that I was just trying to look at the amount of information that was being presented in such a short time. There is data overload, and I'm always saying this on all my presentation. Look left, look right. The only person that doesn't have information right now is the person that does not want to have information because a simple prompt and you can have, as much as 10-page, 5-page document on what you're trying to know about. So as experts and as professionals, our duty now is to begin to dissect that information. The way you would dissect the information will be different from the way a client would dissect the information. I'll give an example. Just today is Friday. This week, we were told by a client we were called in by a client to solve an issue of an agreement. They drafted the agreement themselves, obviously using part of our document that we had done for them before, part of an agreement we had done with them before, probably spit it into, I imputed it into an AI system. The AI system spat the document back to them. They signed the agreement with a third party. And then when trouble came, they now called on us to come and decipher the situation for them. And the first thing we looked at the agreement, we were like, the agreement doesn't even have, it was an agreement to do a transaction for them, but it didn't have the details of the payment. It didn't state that they had paid a certain amount and they would be paid maybe another amount. It did not state that there was going to be commission. There were some certain details, that were not in that particular agreement. And we said to them, you see, this is what the issue is. You may be able to get an agreement from AI, but AI is not going to look at some certain factors. Even when you describe the situation to them, there are just some certain things that a professional is able to dissect for you, different from when you take things into your hands. Also, the agreement that they had with the client was slightly illegal because there are certain things that are allowed by law and certain things that are not. So we now said to them, by law, you are not supposed to sign this kind of agreement. So then we took them down that lane of, trying to educate them. So as we are on this call, knowing fully well that we have clients, we will face clients who have AI available to them in all these different industries. We as the professionals then need to, number one, make sure that we are acquiring the skills, necessary skills, requisite skills that we need to get in this day and age to make sure that we are well informed and to make sure that that core traditional training that we have, we then, impute it or use it in the process of trying to dissect using the use of AI and, general work with our clients. Anyway, so that's just a bit of examples as we're dealing with all of this AI around us now. So the first presentation is AI as a core solution. I think you've covered a lot of this in your presentation already. AI is going to be used in healthcare. We're seeing a lot of diagnostic AI. The presenter has taken us into all sorts, surgery, MRIs, radiology, all of these treatment plans. I was very excited to see the launch of AI clinics, AI robotic clinics, where they're just pods that are placed in different locations, no doctor, no personnel. You just walk in, you speak to the system that is there, tell the system what your symptoms are, and you get like a readout of different things. There's also the one interesting one I saw all over social media about China. You go and use the restroom, you use the toilet, and from your urine sample, in the toilet, it's able to, give you a reading of your, blood sugar, different counts of different things that are in your urine, and that shows up on the screen of the toilet. So we are seeing a lot of use of AI in healthcare. Finance as well. Oh my God, that's another area. So many people innovating in this area. Again, it has been covered in the presentation already. Fraud detection, cross-border payments, algorithmic trading. There's so much. Even this week, we were still speaking to one of our clients who is wanting to launch an asset management system app that is using AI. So many people are building different things using AI as a core solution. Is making payments faster, is making payments more accessible, is making analytics too very accessible. So now you can easily, at the touch of a button or at the ask of a question to a chat system within embedded system within your organization, you can get analytics really quickly. You can just type into the chat box and say how many users are from the Lagos region, you would have all that data immediately. So we're having all of these solutions. Education as well, maybe not as much in Nigeria as we would like, but we're seeing other clients, China, using, even in Africa, we have to give them props for what they're doing. It's just not at the pace that we would like, and probably not getting to the rural areas as much as we can due to other infrastructure issues and the like. But we're seeing adaptive learning, we're seeing people using VR and AI and blockchain, to get education across different platforms to different students, where, people are saying that in the future, people may not need to go to the four walls of a university to get an education. So there are so many things going on there as well. Transportation and logistics, the same thing, route optimization, slashing of fuel consumption, because once you make things more efficient, then you can like Lean Six Sigma across your systems to make spending less, to make value higher across your platforms. And we're seeing a lot of autonomous warehouse management for the likes of, the Amazons of this world, the Alibabas, the Temus, and all of them. They are optimizing all of these new systems using AI, using blockchain, IoTs, and the rest, even drone technology. I'm sure we've heard of Sweden that is imputing chips into people's wrists now to make payments. Even in the US, you have Amazon with the that reads your hand, to make payments. There are so many things that are happening with artificial intelligence. So, and we are seeing it live. It's not something that is coming, it's something that is already here. We're seeing Meta that just launched their latest version of their glasses with the wristbands that you are able to click on things, adjust screens and the like, just by the gesticulation of your hands while wearing the wristbands. So these are things that are already here, and companies are launching all over the world. So for the legal lens, what we are looking at is opportunity mostly. And we're saying that as legal personnel within your different organizations, what you have to do now is to structure AI deployment to be legally sound, to be ethically aligned. I'm sure we're hearing a lot of ethics here and there when it comes to AI, because it's very important for systems to be ethically aligned. The last time I talked about the singularity and the importance of having aligned system, and to avoid misalignment at all costs. And of course, going into the future, you are going to have to play in this space to be competitive, because those that are going to be the top organizations in the future are those that are able to manage all of these opportunities, take all the opportunities that they can, and be able to manage AI as best as they can. So again, we're looking at contracts, we're looking at data governance, we're looking at IP strategies for this new native AI world. So going into corporate governance, I just wanted to touch on a few things really quickly. Data integrity and provenance. The presentation covered this as well. How are you getting your data? How are you sifting that data? To make sure that you are doing data due diligence, making sure that you are reading your systems of bias. I'm sure sometimes during presentation, I say, if I hear bias one more time, I'm going to scream, because everybody's always talking about ethics and bias right now with AI. But unfortunately, it's just what it is. We just have to keep talking about it until, people are building systems and mitigating bias in those systems. So again, another very popular word, garbage in, garbage out, GIGO. You make sure that during whatever system that you're building, that data governance avoids that garbage in, garbage out. And then, of course, to navigate all the major regulations, GDPR, CCPA for the US, HIPAA in the US, and then, of course, our local NDPA here in Nigeria. And then the second part, again, we've touched on this as well. We've learned about this, but just to reiterate it as well, intellectual property is very important. Who owns output? A number of us are following different cases in the US to see how this goes with AI and ownership of intellectual property rights. So it's still developing. We're still watching it. But generally, what we've learned, I think, across board is there needs to be human in the middle for our AI systems. And then we need to make sure that from the get-go, when we are designing systems or working with companies that are designing systems, we're generally working on who owns the output. Well, first the input, and then of course who owns the output that comes out from whatever system that is. So make sure that whatever permits, whatever licenses that you need to get for the input that is going into the data building system process, you make sure you do that data due diligence across board. And then, of course, you make sure that whatever output is coming out as well, you have all the IP rights defined for, and governed across board for all outputs of all AI systems, that are being built. So again, make sure that your contracts are crystal clear on IP rights from the get-go. And then for liability and accountability when things go wrong, this again for autonomous systems that operate at scale, we're looking at allocation and mitigation. So those tools that are being built, whether it's for healthcare, whether it's for logistics, whether it's for finance, whether it's for transportation, if anything goes wrong, who will be liable? Those are the questions. And you need to look at those questions while building the systems. A number of things in emerging technologies now is by design. So when they're talking about privacy by design, security by design, and all of that, ethics by design as well. Everything has to be by design, meaning that you are considering them at the building phase and not at the end when the system has been built already. So make sure that you are considering that before, or while you are building, that process. And as legal, that is your primary duty for AI on such builds. Again, drafting warranties, disclaimers, any indemnity clauses that need to be in there, liability caps if they need to be in there, in all agreements across board. You need to look at that. And again, human in the loop, like we mentioned earlier, protocols for any situation, access control if necessary across board as well. So just make sure that that entire corporate governance goes across the build. And this does not, this is not just high level alone, because some people may think, oh, it's for the decision makers at the top. No, it goes across the organization. So from higher level to lower levels within the organization, you can implement this across board. So when it comes to compliance, again, like I said, those who are able to build trust are the ones that will have competitive edge in the future. So make sure that you're building trust, not just products. Make sure that, all your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed. If you're learning about AI governance, you're hearing words like transparency, accountability. These are things that need to be considered. So, for instance, it says here that an example is a bank using AI for loan approvals will be able to explain adverse decisions in a non-discriminatory way, building immense trust. We don't have that many people who are doing explainable AI. That means their AI is explaining how they come about the process. That's something that in the future we will see will give some certain organizations a better advantage, because if you feel safer, then generally you keep your data safer with people. It's just like how Apple is known to be very big on privacy. So many people like to use the iOS because they feel that their data is safer. Whether it is actually safer or not, that's a different argument. But a lot of people feel generally that if I use an Apple device, my information is generally safer. Some people feel the same for Brave browser. They will say, okay, you know what? I feel like if I use a Brave browser, my information is safer. It keeps me safe from ads and cookies and things like that. Another example is Signal. If you discuss with some developers will say they don't use WhatsApp for discussions. They would rather use Signal because Signal is safer for their information that they're sharing as opposed to WhatsApp. Even though WhatsApp says it's end-to-end encryption, some developers will say, no, I would rather us have our discussion on Signal. So again, these are the reasons why people may move from one brand to another. We're going to see a lot more of that in the future, where people will move to where they feel their information is safest. And so again, that's just build trust and not just products. Then of course, future-proof against regulations. We don't have that much regulation, but those that we have, like the EU AI Act, a lot of us are monitoring that from here because we don't have an AI Act, for instance, yet. So we look to the regions that have the broader regulations, the executive orders, the global frameworks, the standardized global standards across board. Those are where we would look, and then we'll then build our systems around the existing regulation that we can find and the global standards that we have. And then again, the classification of AI systems, we've seen that a lot of people are doing that from high risk to limited risk. So if your system is pretty high risk and dealing with a lot of high risk sensitive information, your compliance checks would definitely be much more than a system that is dealing with very limited risk. Again, AI audit is very, very important going into the future, and you need to do that for all your AI systems within an organization. Again, a lot of this is still emerging. If you mention AI audits to many top management now, it'd be like you're, speaking in Greek. But these are things that we need to start talking about, mentioning, and start to implement in organizations across board. And then what's our call to action at the end of the day? Make sure that you're doing your inventory again of imputed data and of course output of data. Make sure that you're doing your corporate governance across board. I went through the corporate governance part, even though it was really fast, but I'm sure you have some screenshots. And then of course to partner with legal counsel. If you are legal counsel, you need to be that partner that speaks both code and law to your organization because that's where we're going. And so you need to be on your toes with regards code and law and having AI solutions within whatever service industry that you may find yourself. And like it says here, in the age of AI, the most successful companies will be those that solve problems, not just with algorithms, but with integrity and foresight. So that's basically what we have today. So I brought this slide from the last time. I shared this slide the last time, and it just talks about, if you don't understand anything that we've talked about, the basic summary is there needs to be governance and human oversight, okay, across industries. You can imagine when we are talking about robotics and surgery and logistics and a lot of the data that AI systems are collecting, you need to just ensure you build a governance framework. And like we said, there's a lot of data everywhere for you to be able to start on, okay, what's my first step to creating a governance framework within this kind of system, and you can get a lot of that. So creation of clear policies, audit trails, like I said, whatever data is being imputed, and then the output, accountability measures to make sure that the systems are transparent and fair. And I put in bracket here the human review board or oversight committee so that you can create these committees. It could be small committees, it could be boards, depending on the kind of organization that you're working in. so that these can be looked at across board within your organizations. So I think that's mostly it. And it says here that, especially in law and public service, so it really doesn't matter. It's just across all industries, that we have. So I think that's the end of my presentation. The last one that I now want to talk about is tips for people who are going into the emerging technology space. I think the first thing I would say is data comes at you really fast. Um, you have to make sure that you are on your toes with things that are happening within the industry. What we were talking about last year is different from what we're talking about now. We can't say that enough. So you need to make sure that you are on your toes with recent developments in the emerging technology space. Another thing that I would like to say is that we are seeing the emergence of global lawyers. Law is very jurisdictional, right? So if you're in Nigeria and you want to travel to the UK, you then would need to go through the UK system to get yourself to be able to practice there. But now we're seeing that a lot of organizations are actually hiring from other locations. So you have US law firms who are hiring Nigerian lawyers. So they're not doing typically US law, but they're doing things like, compliance, they're doing data privacy, they're doing contracting, they're doing, a number of areas that, you can still employ somebody from another region. So don't think of yourself as just a Nigerian lawyer anymore. You need to think of yourself, especially when you are in technology, you need to think of yourself as a global lawyer and stretch yourself far. You need to be able to know what is happening in Brazil, what's happening in the UAE, what's happening in South Africa. I mean, you can't know everything, but at least just cover the basics. If you have the basics, I think you'll be good. And then, of course, get a mentor. We say this all the time. Follow who knows what, you get someone who is a mentor. And mentors can be one-on-one mentors, or they can be mentors from afar. So you can watch somebody on LinkedIn, you can follow their interviews, you can follow their activities, you can see what conferences they are attending. There's so many ways that a person can mentor you as opposed to one-on-one. Some of us are looking for that one-on-one. The person might not have that time to do the one-on-one with you, but when you follow what the person is doing and the activities that the person is taking part in, that's a pretty good way of enhancing yourself. And then finally, I'm going to say enhance your skills. And the modern lawyer is not just going to be a lawyer who knows law. You have to know other things as well. Do you know anything about risk management? Do you know the basics of the tech itself? Do you know anything about project management? Are you good with digital media? Are you good with? You need to build your skills, because if you are just the general lawyer, you are going to have a lot more people who are better once they send their CV out with you than yourself. And it's not about gathering as many internships as you can. Yes, internships are fantastic, but your skills, your core skills, what are the core skills that you're going to list, in your CV? You need to have those skills. And that honestly is what separates one lawyer from the next, because we're churning out so many lawyers, but everybody is almost on the same level. But you see the one or two, that will separate themselves with the additional skills that they have. Those are the people that, will separate themselves quickly. So even though you are doing the internships and learning and getting mentors, another advantage for you would be to build your skills. For instance, have you tried doing fellowships in AI, or like another course in AI, or like something else in digital communication, something else in, project management, something else in risk and audit? Those are the kind of things that, this person, it looks like this is the kind of person that we need above the other, people that we saw their CV. So just try and make sure that in this new world of AI, you acquire these skills really fast, and make sure you take it, start from theory, but then go into practical real quickly. So apart from the theory that you're reading and studying, make sure you get your hands into the practical. And you can do that through volunteering across board, either locally or remotely for another organization. And this you can do in several different ways. Almost all, I won't say almost all, but a lot of the interns are interned with us on a one-on-one level, are all now working for remote organizations, because once organizations see those skills, they just rush them from nowhere, because they are looking for people who have those certain skill sets. So you find that, before you know it, they're earning in a different currency. And you can imagine, with the current way Nigeria is, earning in another currency right now is not bad at all. So that's something that you can take into the future as well. As we go more into tech, we're going to see a lot more of those blurred lines where organizations are coming into Nigeria to hire talent in the legal space to make them work for them. So I hope those are useful for you all now. Those are just a bit of the tips that I wanted to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Barrister Buki. We really, really did enjoy your take and everything that you shared, including the advice that you gave to our mentees. We really do appreciate. So for the mentees, just before we go, please can we take questions? If you have questions for Barrister Buki, we'll take your questions and then we'll call it a day. Do we have questions in class?
No, sir.
Okay, please, who is speaking? Okay, you said no. Okay. I think Faith is asking, we have a question in the chat box. We have I think two questions in the chat box. The first is from Faith. Faith is asking for AI bias. For AI bias, what possible solution can we use to curb it? And the second one is saying, that's from Obioma Pearl. She's also saying, please, Ma, do you have opportunities you can recommend? Okay. Yeah, I think the other question that is coming is still within the lights. So Ma, please, if
Okay.
you can.
So for AI bias, right? There's certain software that you can use to mitigate bias. And then there are some that you don't need a software. You can use regular manual processes. I give an example. If all of the data that you have imputed in a system is mostly information on white male recipients, that information is going to be biased against women and is going to be biased against blacks. So if you do an audit, you'll be able to see how the data is skewed, that is more skewed towards white male recipients. Let's just give an example, maybe for loans now. Because some people that are building AI systems, they just go and gather that data from anywhere. They don't even care where the data is from. Their own is just that I'm building AI system, I'm doing data scraping across the internet. I don't, as far as I'm getting data, I'm happy, right? But that data that you may be getting to use for your loan application AI system might be biased against women and biased against blacks. So what you need to do is to do an audit. If you do an audit of where the data is coming from and what that data, the parameters of the data that you are getting, then manually you can correct that to say, okay, we are going to mitigate this by getting data from more systems that have been designed for blacks and that have women, in their system. Maybe you go to like all these, there are some women development banks and things like that. You can go and get data from systems like that and say, okay, we're going to impute this data into our AI system to kind of balance out that bias, right? So that's a manual way of going about it. Whereas there are some that actually use systems that are designed. There are people that are actually creating AI audit system softwares that would they would look through the data using AI and be able to spit out what kind of parameters your data has, and then once you have that information, you can then input the necessary data that is needed. So it can be done manually or it can be done automatically using softwares. That's an example of a way to go about curbing it. So, but at the center of that is auditing the systems, making sure that you're auditing the system, making sure that you're tracking the inputs of the system. That's the only way that you're going to be, and testing as well. Because there are some software that test the system as well to know if it's more biased towards certain groups or categories of people or not. So that's a way of solving that. Then opportunities that I recommend. I think there's opportunities desk, which is very popular that a lot of people use. You can find out, thank God there's AI now. You can just type into Google, Gemini, any of these softwares, what opportunities are available in AI, depending on where you're interested in. Because I tell people that even tech self is wide. If you call yourself a technology lawyer, what part of tech? Are you doing Web 2? Are you doing Web 3? Are you doing fintech? Are you doing insurtech? Tech? Are you doing health tech? Are you doing the tech itself? It's not, it's super wide. So even when you say you are doing emerging technologies, you are doing a lot across the board. So make sure that you are looking for opportunities. Is it drones you are interested in? Is it blockchain? Is it AI? Is it fintech? And then you start to distill the information. The only thing is to find opportunities, you need to do a lot of work. That's it. But there are shortcuts for this. One is you can tag on Google, you can tag certain news. So I always share this that you can go to Google and tag certain news, and it will automatically send you those news in your email. So maybe tag, let's say you're interested in drones, tag AI, tag whatever you're interested in, you can tag, and you get all those, any news that comes about it, to send those to your email. You can also do the tagging on LinkedIn as well. Follow certain tags. Maybe you are following stable coins, for instance. You can just tag it, stable coins. Anything that comes to under stable coins, it will show it in your feed. So technology has made a number of these things, easier. You can tag AI opportunities on LinkedIn, or research opportunities, fellowship opportunities, things like that. I came in through the space through doing fellowships. Fellowships were really great for me because I was able to, subsume myself with whatever area it was in maybe 6 months. I was just learning about smart contracts, and that's all I was doing. But I got a stipend, so I was able to focus, because sometimes when the money is not coming from anywhere, you'll not be able to focus. But a number of those fellowship opportunities have stipends attached to it, so that you're able to focus on your focus. So that's another great one. So the tagging, the following the news, the looking for fellowships or educational opportunities. There are courses as well. So many different kinds of courses now that you can do, and free test. I always say that you can start with the free ones and then eventually start doing the paid ones, because some of the paid ones are actually quite affordable. But you need to graduate from that free to the paid level. What job opportunities are available for AI in the AI and emerging technology space? There are so many job opportunities. I tell lawyers now that part of legal work now is being done by non-legal people. You find, just go to LinkedIn and go and see some people's profiles. They are doing compliance, they are doing audits. Go and check their degrees. No single law degree there. And I'm wondering, why are these people doing compliance? And but that's just the world. There is high demand for these people. You see some people in data privacy and they don't have law degrees. just because they went to do CIPPE, CIPP-US, and they are in data privacy automatically. And then some of them are even working from, they just volunteer, and once they are volunteering for the job, they put them in the role and then they start working there. So we find that if you discuss with a lot of the people that are in emerging technology law, there are so many people that we come across on a daily basis that are doing compliance for their organizations and they have no law degrees. So those of us that are lawyers and have read law is because we are not doing these courses, we are not making ourselves available in these spaces. So there are a lot of job opportunities in cybersecurity. There are a lot of job opportunities, even that cybersecurity, you find a lot of people there, non-lawyers. In fact, a lot of them are tech. They go into cybersecurity and they're doing cybersecurity. Even the legal part of cybersecurity, they're the ones doing it. And that ought not to be so. So there is a lot of jobs with risk and audit. Forensics is another area. Some lawyers, I see them going into forensics and audits. That's another area. What else can I think of? There are so many. You can just Google, ask any LLM what the job opportunities are. We're seeing a lot more of them in AI. The only restricting part for AI, I would say, is some of the roles are asking for computing experience, math, physics, and the like. But anyone that does not require the scientific element, a legal person can do actually. So go to AI governance, and those are popular words now that people are looking for roles to fill. Some people also go into it through digital media management. So they do digital media, before you know it, they're kind of doing the AI governance as well. So there's so many job opportunities. Please, can we get slides, sure, and other recommended resources? Okay, I can maybe include that in the last slide and then send to hone and upskill. When I talked about AI accountability, your question is there a specific principle or case in Nigeria or other nations that provide for AI accountability in the event of bias or hurt as a result of use of AI? No. And that is because it's still developing here. The only thing that we have on AI currently is national AI policy. That's what we have in Nigeria. Majorly what we are all using for accounting, it's mostly the data privacy organizations that are pushing AI governance. So IAPP, NIDA, and some of them are trying to push that AI governance. But it's mostly the international standards organizations or associations that are pushing AI accountability and the principles and all of that. And then if you belong to, that's another part I didn't mention, you need to join associations. Join associations, groups. You should be following things like AI for Good. You should be attending their conferences. Most of these things are free. You just need to know about them. So in many times, I will just find myself in some places. I can just be in maybe a meeting in Turkey and one association is meeting and I'm the only Nigerian there and I'm listening to what is happening in Turkey because how did I find it? I probably found it off, social media, maybe somebody I'm following on LinkedIn and the person posts, I'm going to be speaking at this conference on so day. And I just register and join and I'm just there, the only Nigerian, so you need to be there, get all this information, try and join associations and follow the people in the leadership of the associations. You get a lot of information, you get a lot of opportunity, and you get to meet a lot of people as well. Even though you are right here in Nigeria, you increase your tentacles. So a lot of, back to the question on the principles, it's a lot of the association level global standardized frameworks that are pushing the principles. And like I said, the global association level. So if you follow them, many of them have like free documents that they allow you read through, even download. and the like. And of course, they have the examinations as well. So if you're interested in going further, you can do like the AIGP exams from IAPP. There are a number of others. There are so many. I know that Digital Encode, the CEO, also brought in some AI training that he's doing or certification that they're bringing to Lagos, Nigeria. And again, they're focusing on transparency, accountability, learning all of those principles. And I believe he's doing it in conjunction with one of the international organizations. So you get a proper certificate when you do that. So those are the kind of things that we're seeing when it comes to using the principles and practicing the principles and usage of AI in Nigeria here currently. So that's what you just have to follow for now. I don't think there's any other question. So I'll just hand it back to you, Dennis. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Buki or Barrister Buki, for helping us run through the questions. We really do appreciate your presence in class or in the artificial intelligence and emerging technology class. You've been with us, I think, from week 1, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you so much, Mark, for your time, your shared knowledge, and your shared experience. We really, really do appreciate. For the mentees, like I said earlier at the start of class, this is the official last class for AI. The subsequent classes that will be held will be joint or combined classes with the other mentees in the other classes for a different, completely different, or different topics. Or rather, the information about that will be sent to your group, and then what you will be doing will also be sent to your group. So once again, thank you to everyone who has stayed to the end of class. Thank you so much again, Ma. For the mentees, do not forget to share what you have learned on your different social media platforms. Do not forget to tag Barrister Buki. Let's spread the word. Let's share what you are learning. It's also showing that you are actually gravitating towards this space and it's putting you out there, right? So it's not just eating about us, it's also eating about you, right? So please, let's make sure to do that. Yeah, we've come to the end of today's class. See you all next week. Barrister Buki, we hope to see you in subsequent mentorship sessions coming to advise new sets of mentees on artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. Thank you very much, Ma, for your time.
No problem, anytime. Congratulations again, everyone.
Yes, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma. All right. With that, we've come to the end of today's class. Do all enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and bye-bye. Okay, sorry, just before we go, I forgot we haven't taken our pictures for today. Something was obviously missing, and I just remembered. So sorry once again. For the mentees, let's quickly turn on our videos. Let's quickly do that so that we just end the call. Thank you. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, Diadem. Thank you, Becca. Thank you, Iyanu Olua, sorry. Okay, sorry. All right. Yeah, we're done. We're done. All right, goodbye, everyone. Take care.